Hi, Joey. It looks like this is your last set of essays. Let's take a look at what you have written here. Green energy is the topic, so let's see what you said. In recent times, there has been, okay, when you use a time marker like this, it pretty much obligates you to use a particular tense. So here in recent times really belongs with the present perfect. So, in recent times, there has been increasing usage of renewable energy for generating electricity around the world. While advocates argue that green energy is more eco-friendly and economically sound, opponents worry that energy stability is undermined. In this essay, I will examine both views and explain why I feel adopting renewable resources is vital. Okay, I like it. For some reason, Word didn't like your sentence, but I disagree. I actually like it. I like the whole paragraph. Okay, so let's continue. On the one hand, opponents claim, okay, on the one hand, opponents claim that the world can face energy supply disruptions if natural sources are fully adopted. Careful here. You can't really call green energy natural sources because all types of energy are natural sources. So fossil fuels are natural, nuclear power is natural, and wind, sun, and water can be natural sources of energy. So don't call them this. You can say green energy, you can say renewable sources of energy, but not natural. This is largely because renewable energy sources are strongly dependent on unpredictable weather conditions such as rain, wind, and cloud cover. Take the fast-growing sector as an example. Which one? Which fast-growing sector? That's confusing. Solar panels can be used only under strong and direct sunlight, and when there are bad weather conditions, renewable energy technology such as solar cells will be of less use. Indeed, such unpredictable factors could lead to energy disruptions or even blackouts. Okay, so yeah, this didn't make sense to me, what you were talking about. So if you meant like solar panels, then you should have said it. Like, for example, take solar panels, for example. Um, these can be used only under strong direct sunlight. And then it sounds a lot better. Okay, so let's continue. On the other hand, others, myself included, believe that using green energy to generate power could significantly help to reduce the costs of the usage, and prevent catastrophic environmental damage. As a matter of fact, renewables do not take any kinds of fossil fuels to generate power, as they completely run with the help of natural sources. Again, I already told you natural sources is not appropriate. As a result, dependence, ENCE, on imported fuels can be largely reduced. In terms of the environment, okay, it is well known that extracting and burning coal, gas, and oil leads to pollution, habitat destruction, even species extinction. Clearly, the sooner we adopt renewable energy, the more likely we can avert this disaster. Nice. Let's see, reduce the cost. Okay, so here's what I wanted. You said that using this power could reduce the cost, etc. And then you said they don't take any kind of fossil fuels. All right, so what I wanted here is to explain to me why this lowers the cost. Okay, is it self-explanatory? Well, yeah, maybe it is, but for the purposes of IELTS, it doesn't really matter how self-explanatory you think something is. You still need to explain it. So explain to us that you don't buy the sun from anybody. You don't buy wind from anybody. You don't have to pay to extract these things anywhere. They're just available freely. Such is not the case with oil, coal, and gas. And so that's the kind of information I wanted you to include here. All right. Like I said, maybe it sounds very kind of obvious, but it doesn't matter in IELTS. You have to, you can't basically assume that your reader knows what you're talking about ever. All right, so let's continue. In conclusion, although some may worry, uh, let's see, some may worry, I'm confused about your grammar here. Some may worry the instability brought by renewable energy, the threat that is posed by, okay. In conclusion, although some may worry about the instability brought by renewable energy, the threat that is posed by fossil fuels is indeed far greater. I believe that renewables are, in fact, the only sound option, both economically and environmentally. Okay, So Joey, I liked this. I thought you did a good job of it. I thought you developed nicely. I thought a lot of your grammar and your vocabulary was really good. It wasn't flawless, okay, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be flawless, but it was still a very good essay. You're definitely on the right track. Keep at it. Just be careful with some of the things that we talked about, okay? Making sure that you don't assume anything. You don't assume your reader knows what you're talking about. That you extend your ideas. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the map of the island. Great. See what you did here. The two maps compare an island as it was and after it developed into a tourist destination. Overall, although the island was completely undeveloped with just a few trees growing on it, since then a tourist facility has been built with accommodation, access, and amenities. Okay. I don't know if I like the word tourist facility here. That implies that there's just one thing that is relevant to tourists. It's not really that's not really the case here. Maybe you could say a tourist destination has been developed. So the whole island is a destination. Or even better, since then, the island has developed into a tourist destination with accommodation, access, and amenities. All right, so that would have been a good way to say it. Other than that, it was nice. Okay, so before the development, there was a beach on the west of the island, which is now connected, D-E-D, by a footpath to all parts of the tourist development. When guests or supply boats arrive, they can now land at the pier on the southwest coast, just a short walk from the reception area, which is located in the center of the facility. The resort boasts, not boosts, I think you mean boast, B-O-A, two groups of huts, one close to the beach and another in the eastern part of the island, which is connected by the footpath. In order to build these accommodations, some trees, careful with your spelling, in the eastern part were cut down to make way for this, as well as two of them in the northwest of the island. However, an artificial lake has been built to the east of the eastern group of huts for guests. Okay. So let's see. All right, let's see what you talked about here. So you talked about the footpaths quite a bit, actually. You talked about the pier, you talked about the beach, you talked about the lake, you talked about the two huts. I didn't see anything about tracks. Did you talk about tracks at all? Let's see, artificial lake. Let me just make sure you covered everything you need to cover. There's a beach, footpath. Okay, short walk. All right, so here's what I can see. You can see I've read it now a couple of times. It looks to me like you neglected to talk about the vehicle track. It looks like you also neglected to talk about these facilities. You talked about a reception center, but there's actually a lot more there than you expressed. There is a hotel, I believe there's a mall, and then there's a restaurant. So, um, you probably should have referred to these by name. I mean, there's not really a ton of different stuff going on here, and so in this kind of incident, it is important to um, to talk about everything. So I I was enjoying what you were doing, talking about the before and after. I wish you would have made those connections a little more. So I like that you talked about the trees. I like to talk about the beach. Um, I mean, sometimes I feel like I think the clearest way to do this is literally just dedicate a short little paragraph to the before island, okay? And not only that, but you have this scale here, and it looks to me like most students neglect to use it. So you talked, for example, about the reception area being a short distance from the pier. Well, you have this scale to tell you just how short the distance is. You have this scale to tell you the distances from things, between things, and to tell you also the size of the island. So, in an ideal world, you would have mentioned this as well, that you have this scale, and maybe you would have referred to it at some point. Okay, so that's some stuff I would have liked. Okay. And then other than that, everything was good. Grammar was well controlled, language was good, vocabulary was good, so no real problems. Okay? So take a look at the email, which invites you to sign up for another set of essays. I'm drawing a blank. I thought you said your exam was coming up very, very soon. If that's the case, then I wish you good luck. If that's not the case, then take a look at the set and how you can continue working with us. Okay, let us know either way. Want to wish you tons and tons of luck.